is what the city attorneys have advised me to advise you. That's the best I can tell you.
You all contributed to this young man's death.
That's the best I can tell you.
You, the fire department, the police department, the health department contributed to this young man's death.
Maria, if you go through this, all the information...
I've lost total respect for you.
Acting on a tip from Doing It Local, I informed the father of Nyair Nixon that the Bridgeport Fire Department visited the Keystone nightclub the night before his son was killed due to a fire alarm that went off. And the father came to the main office of the fire department today to get a public report. These are public records.
I was trying to locate the people to get the paperwork so I could see the paperwork, but they told me that I wasn't able to have access to it, which I knew that it was public information and that I'm able to get it. So I sat there for like 45 minutes and then I called Councilwoman to come give me some assistance.
The statute section 1-210 clearly states access to public records, except as otherwise provided by any federal law or state statute. All records maintained or kept on file by any public agency, which would be the Bridgeport Fire Department, whether or not such records are required by any law or by any rule of regulation, shall be public records, and every person shall have the right to 1, inspect such records promptly during regular office or business hours. Are you on regular business hours?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are. 2, copy such records in accordance with subsection G of section 1-212. Receive a copy of such records in accordance with section 1-212.
The law is clear that anyone can go to any public agency during normal business hours and pick up any public record that's readily available. Any report would be readily available. It's done. It's on file. They've done everything they can to block the father from getting a report from the Keystone nightclub where his son was murdered less than 24 hours later after the fire department and the police department visited this location. They all knew that it was not a valid social club. They knew that liquor was being sold illegally. They knew that there were strippers and prostitution there. They knew there were children underage. And on the night before this poor father's son was murdered, they did nothing to close the place down. Not the fire department, not the Bridgeport Police Department, not the health department. And a tragedy occurred where his beautiful 21-year-old son was murdered the very next night when the club opened again. And this is disgraceful here today, that Chief Thode and members of the Joe Ganim and this administration are doing everything they can to obstruct this family who just buried their son yesterday and are telling them they can't get a report that anybody's entitled to. It's a public record. This is not something that requires, hours and hours of research. Just give him a copy of the report. And Chief Thode, under the guide of the city attorney or Mayor Ganim's henchmen, have done everything they can to obstruct this family's right to know what happened at Keystone nightclub.